The plane landed perfectly. Gear down, flaps set, touchdown smooth. The runway lights caught the fuselage as it rolled to a stop. Everything looked normal, until they opened the door. Everyone inside was dead. This is the story of National Airlines Flight 967, and the question that has never been fully answered. National Airlines Flight 967 departed New York Idlewild Airport on November 16, 1959. The aircraft was a Douglas DC-6B, a 4-engine propeller plane, one of the most reliable aircraft of its era. The route was routine, New York to Miami, 74 passengers and crew aboard. Businessmen, families, people going home. For the first several hours, the flight was uneventful. Crew communications were normal. Weather was clear. There was no reason for anyone on board to be afraid. Somewhere over the Atlantic, something changed. The aircraft deviated from its assigned course. Significantly, it turned east, away from Miami, away from the coast, and flew out over open ocean. Air traffic control attempted contact. The crew did not respond. Radio calls went unanswered. The plane simply kept flying. Off course, in silence. It continued this way for an extended period. Then, without explanation, it turned and began approaching land. When the aircraft finally landed, rescue crews rushed to meet it. The plane had arrived. But something was wrong. There was no movement inside, no passengers gathering their bags, no crew preparing for disembarkation. When they opened the door, they found the cabin silent, passengers still in their seats, the cockpit empty of any conscious life. The pilots were slumped forward over the controls. No fire, no visible trauma, no crash. The plane had landed itself, executing a near-perfect approach and touchdown with no one alive at the controls. 74 people had boarded that aircraft in New York. Not one of them would walk off it. The investigation was immediate, and what investigators found appeared at first to be a clear answer. Carbon monoxide, colorless, odorless, undetectable without instruments. A faulty cabin heater had been pumping it silently into the aircraft. The crew were overcome before they could react. The passengers followed. The autopilot had kept the plane flying. The autopilot had, by a combination of mechanical chance and air currents, eventually guided it back toward land. It was a tragedy, but it was an explainable one. The official cause was filed: accidental carbon monoxide poisoning from a malfunctioning heater system. Case closed, or so it seemed. But some investigators were not satisfied. The timeline was the problem. Carbon monoxide incapacitation follows a predictable curve. At the concentrations detected, the crew should have lost consciousness within a specific window of time. The deviation happened earlier, significantly earlier, before the gas levels should have been high enough to affect them, which meant someone, or something, had changed course deliberately, while the crew was still capable of making decisions. Why? No explanation was offered. The official report did not address it directly. A second detail: certain documents from the investigation were withheld from public release. The families of the victims were never told what those documents contained. They have never been released. But some investigators were not satisfied. The timeline was the problem. Carbon monoxide incapacitation follows a predictable curve. At the concentrations detected, the crew should have lost consciousness within a specific window of time. The deviation happened earlier, significantly earlier, before the gas levels should have been high enough to affect them, which meant someone, or something, had changed course deliberately, while the crew was still capable of making decisions. Why? No explanation was offered. The official report did not address it directly. A second detail: certain documents from the investigation were withheld from public release. The families of the victims were never told what those documents contained. They have never been released. Here is what we know for certain. A plane took off from New York on November 16, 1959. It deviated from its course. It went silent. It landed itself. Everyone aboard was dead. The official explanation exists, but it does not explain everything. And the documents that might explain the rest have never been made public. Somewhere in a government archive, the full story of Flight 967 may still exist. No one has opened it. If you've never heard of National Airlines Flight 967, you're not alone. Most people haven't. The headline lasted a week. Then the world moved on. If you want more cases like this, forgotten disasters, ghost flights, the stories history left behind, subscribe. There are more files to open. This has been The Quiet Archive.